Hello and welcome to the three-a-side stroke, four-a-side stroke, five-a-side podcast. My name is Billy Kirkpatrick and I will be guiding us through the midweek card of Scottish football. As always, I am joined by Ross Dewar,
Evening, everyone.
Craig Rigger,
Evening.
and at some point, maybe Matthew Thompson and maybe Fergus Smith, should they decide to join us. A busy midweek in Scottish football, Premiership playoffs, League One and League Two coming to a thrilling conclusion. But we'll start in Fife, the Fife derby between Dunfermline and Raith in the Premiership playoff quarter final. 0-0. Not the most exciting game, a very cagey affair. How Dunfermline didn't win, I don't know. But thoughts on the game, guys?
Clear that just like neither team wanted to try and push too hard. It's a two-legged game. You don't want to be out after the first game. Just take it easy because a lot at stake. Obviously, Dunfermline did dominate majority of the attacks and attempts. Probably should have won it, but Wraith held up and pushed forward for their home tie.
Yeah, I feel Dunfermline actually had a couple of good chances. Jamie McDonald made quite a good save. Felt he was probably what made the difference and made it nothing each, which these games are huge. The
Well,
save he made to deny Kevin O'Hara was great.
I seen he was doing a press interview earlier on the week. He said he feels that he can still play in the Premiership. Could he?
I don't really know. When he was at Alaba last season, he had some questionable moments. Moved to Wraith, and they've had a good season, so you never know. He's goalkeepers who don't really deteriorate too much to when they before they actually retire. They usually can stay at the top level or the level that they played at majority of their time. So probably he probably could play for a lower end Premiership side.
I mean, a couple of years ago when he was at Kelly, he used to save Kelly quite a lot of points just by making the odd decent save. Like the guy obviously does have qualities to be in and around those sort of teams at the bottom half of the table.
Yeah, so I mean, it's certainly going to be an interesting second leg this weekend. Obviously, the winners of that tie playing Dundee, and I would probably say Dundee would be the favourites, regardless of who gets through.
Yeah, indeed, have had that late push that got them the second place and took that extra game away from them. And it's quite a good end to the season for Wraith after for Dundee. Sorry, after a KG start anyway.
Yeah, but anyway, we'll see what happens over the next kind of couple of days and the games ahead, and who goes through to play either Kilmarnock, Hamilton, or Ross County, depending on what happens in the finale of the Premiership season. But we move on to League One, where there was a dramatic Tuesday night in store. 4 games being played, starting with the promotion group. Montrose, Partick Thistle. I'll tell you what, some game, 3-2.
I mean, if only someone could call it that Montrose would win that game. Partick wouldn't have tried the hardest. They're not the biggest Falkirk fans after Falkirk's bragging of the title already been won after the break. I'm not saying that Partick deliberately let Montrose win, but I'm sure they could have tried their hardest and won that game if they'd wanted to.
Well, it was a great start for Montrose going ahead after 19 minutes. Martin Rennie with a goal, putting them 1-0 up. But fair play to Partick, got back into the game. Ross McIver on loan from Motherwell, a nice tidy finish. But Montrose with that fighting attitude, which has seen them be in that top half of the table, and Russell McLean getting the goal just 9 minutes before half-time to make it 2-1. And then second half, yeah, kind of a lot of changes. Equaliser 62 minutes, Joe Cardle, who seems to be in a decent scoring run of form. And then it kind of fizzled out for about 20 minutes, and then 3 minutes to go, Cammy Ballantyne on loan from St Johnstone with the winner, and that saw Montrose win the game.
Massive 3 points for that.
Massive 3 points given the context of what happened in the other game. Obviously, if you look at it, Montrose, to be fair, considering they lost, 2-1 to Airdrie, 2-0 to Cove, in the first two games of the split, to come back and win the last two does take some real character and real fight.
It does, yeah. And they would really want that, because even getting them into the promotion playoffs after that is a lottery. It would be great for them to get up. I'd love to see Montrose playing in the championship. It would be, especially where both up as well. That'd be a good wee Angus derby that they both get to have. So yeah,
it would certainly be beneficial for the kind of teams in that kind of area of the pitch. But the only reason they snuck into the playoffs was Falkirk's late collapse. What went wrong for Falkirk?
so, it'd be easier if I told you what went right for Falkirk this season, because
nothing.
the teams, they came back, and since then Falkirk have won like 2 games or something since. 2 or 3 games, I don't know how much.
It's been a dreadful run of form. I mean, they've won 1 in the last 8.
Yeah,
which was a 2-1 win over Clyde.
And when they had the playoff position all but secured, and then they sacked their manager, and then it's how tough it is to go into those games late on, the pressure games without their manager. It just obviously hadn't worked out for them, and they'll be spending another season in League One.
I think, though, to be fair, they did bring in Gary Holt, who is no slouch. He's no rookie.
Yeah, true.
I'm along the lines. I think it's a squad mentality issue.
Yeah,
I think that's a team that think they should be better than what they actually are. Because the run of form was dreadful.
They do have a decent number of players, but I don't know what has happened. Like you said, it just could be a mentality issue, but they've fallen apart lately.
They collapsed, and I think Falkirk fans will be angry. I don't think there's any other way to put it.
well,
I think.
Yeah.
I mean, had you said before this, would they finish fifth? I probably would have laughed and said, no, you're talking absolute nonsense. But fair play to Airdrie. Credit where credit's due. They were in a tremendous run of form. 4 wins out the last 5. Against the kind of the top, apart from the defeat against Partick. Against the kind of better teams in the league, and it was late on. 88th minute and then 94th minute to seal their victory, but well worth the victory, and into the playoffs where they'll play. I believe it's Cove Rangers in the semi-final.
Yeah, it'll be a good game there, because this was a good game a couple of weeks back when they did play each other. Airdrie did come out on top, so they'll be the favourites for this game, I'd imagine. Yeah. So it'll be an interesting one.
Certainly. I think the playoffs, obviously, we get Montrose who are playing Morton as well. I think that'll be closer than what people actually think. Morton are not overly impressive.
No.
I think Montrose are a lot better than people give them credit for as well. Like, it's a difficult League One, and they're doing really well to actually be currently 4th.
Yeah.
To get into the playoffs, from where they were, with the rank outsiders going into the split, they've done well, and they deserve to be in the position that they're in. It does kind of beg the question, will there be a point where Stuart Petrie gets called up for a bigger job? Who knows?
Well, he's been linked with probably most jobs that are going in like lower half championship and below for the past few seasons now. So
when will he get his chance? Maybe he doesn't want to move. Maybe he's happy.
Yeah,
I'm sure you never know.
I'm sure, especially if he goes up with, I'm sure he's more than happy to stay there for a while longer. So.
But yeah, so exciting times ahead for those teams in the promotion playoffs. But at the other end of the spectrum, it was a similar dramatic 3 games that we had. 2 on the Tuesday, 1 on the Thursday. Dumbarton against Peterhead. First of all, Dumbarton coming out 3-2 victors against Peterhead. Peterhead, whose season's just kind of fizzled out. Really, it wasn't the greatest kind of
Mm.
end. Did the job to stay safe out the playoffs, and then lost the last two games to Forfar and Dumbarton, both with late goals. But I'm sure Jim McInally won't be too concerned with that.
No, it really was a must-win game for Dumbarton. Though if they didn't win it, then they guaranteed themselves in the playoffs. Albeit Clyde had to play on Thursday, which they did go on to win, obviously. But it would be a good boost for Dumbarton going into the relegation playoffs,
Absolutely.
to win that game, especially in such late fashion.
I think as well you've got an experienced manager in Jim Duffy who has been there and done that in most of the lower end leagues, Championship, League 1, League 2. So you've got somebody that's very experienced, and that should put them in good stead in the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely.
Which they will be playing, I believe, Stranraer.
I think so. I'm way to check that. I'm
Double
not too
check
sure.
that one. Yeah, it is Stranraer they'll be playing in the
Stranraer,
playoffs.
That'll be a good game. That'll be a
will
good
be.
game between Stranraer, who we'll get onto them later on, but two good games within that. But obviously it took a late goal, and seems to be a lot of late goals in these lower leagues. They seem to kind of defend past the 90th minute, but obviously that was good for Dumbarton to get the win. And in the other game, the game that did seal Forfar's relegation to League 2, it was Forfar 2, East Fife 3. And again, another late goal that confirmed the death of Forfar in League 1.
Yeah, they were up against it for the full season pretty much. It wasn't going to be an easy one for them, and as it proved, it wasn't an easy one. They'll be back down in League 2.
Yeah, too much. It was too little, too late. They kind of rallied round towards the end of the season, but when they lost 6 in the bounce, okay, one of them was against Dundee United. It was always going to be tough. And the Barton's win meant Thursday night, Clyde and East Fife had to play their rearranged game. Their kind of in contention rearranged game, and it proved to be the result that Clyde needed to get through and avoid the dreaded relegation playoff. Beating East Fife 2-1, do you think it was a case of Clyde playing well or East Fife downing tools?
More East Fife downing tools. Probably both teams weren't really up to it too much as well, because it was another Thursday night game, another 3 games in the 1 week for the teams. It's been a hard run in for those lower league teams to get that season complete. And fair play, they've managed it, but I'm sure the players will be absolutely knackered.
I do think there was a point where I think many of us did think, is the season ever going to end?
Yeah.
Or even reach a conclusion? But fair play to the players and the teams and the testing. Obviously, apart from that one game, they got through it. They got through it with not too much fuss, which was the key for that. And that takes us on very nicely to League 2, where we had the finale of League 2 on Tuesday night.
Can I just very nicely say hello?
Yes, good evening, Fergus. How are we?
Apologies for the lateness, boys. I'm situated.
It's all right.
Now I'm here. But yes.
He didn't want to talk about the other teams. He just wanted to be here for the Queen's Park.
the Queen's Park collective.
Obviously.
So yeah, we'll start in League 2 with the League 2 relegation playoff between Brora and Kelty. Kelty coming out 2-0 winners. I don't really know if I've seen this coming. I'm going to be honest. I'm not too. I don't know too much about either team really, and Brora have only played 3 games apart from the 2 cup games. Kelty haven't played at all, so it was who knew what the result would have been.
I was a bit surprised.
Yeah, it's not really one they could have called, to be fair.
I thought it would have went more in Brora's favour, to be honest, but Kelty are still a good side, so I think they were well worth the win, to be honest.
Yeah, but both teams, I think, would do quite well in League 2, given the
Would do better than
chances.
Brecon.
I mean, I do think whatever team does win this tie will beat Brecon, I think.
Yes.
If they don't, then it'll be a big disappointment for them in general. Brora were up against it in the game, having given away 2 penalties in the first 20 minutes, which was never ideal for them. Although they did save both of them, which you would have thought maybe got the keeper's confidence up, but wasn't to be in the end for them.
No, I mean, to be fair, when you look at Kelty, although they haven't played any games really, you look at the players that are in that team, those are championship players
Yeah,
from last season. You know,
Higginbottom, Nathan Austin.
you know, Michael Tidser, Darren Jameson,
Even
you know,
Patrick
Dougie
Boyle.
Hill. You know, these are players that are, you know, have played in the senior league. So maybe it isn't a surprise that Kelty won. I don't know, but there's not been enough games played this season for me personally, to warrant any kind of opinion on how it went.
Yeah,
But it'll be an interesting second leg. Bro will need to come out all guns blazing. There's no doubt about it. If they want to win the tie, they can't sit back. They're going to have to just push out and hope for the
They're
best.
perfectly
Yeah.
capable of winning it. So
they are. They proved that when their victory over Hearts, and they'll have to try and use some of their, albeit not very many games, but some of their recent form to try push forward and get the confidence back in the team.
Yeah, certainly it'll certainly be an interesting tie tomorrow. I think maybe 2-0 is maybe just too much to overturn, but
Never
we'll
know.
see. We'll see how it goes. And also in the relegation half, Brecon continue up their dismal run of form. They
leave
lost
them
again.
alone, leave them alone, okay?
Unsurprisingly.
And
To be
that's
fair,
all
though,
we said about that game, because we don't need to talk about Beacon for too long.
They held out to the 80th minute. To be fair,
Well done.
credit where
They got a
credit's
medal
due.
for that.
You know I think, well, yes, I think we should. You know, if you look at it, to be fair, it was better than most weeks, so they can take that as an achievement. Not too shit as most weeks. Well
Yes,
done.
congratulations.
Another game, the game that decided 7th place, 6th place, even. Cowdenbeath beating Albion Rovers 2-0, which I think that was a case of, again, Albion Rovers were downing tools. They'd
Yeah, potentially.
done the job, they were safe. Considering where they were, you know, they looked to be, you know, they had a really, really poor run of form just after the season resumed, but Brian Reid got things firing and got them into a position where they were safe enough going into the last game of the season, and that's maybe something that he can build on for next season and get Albion up the table.
Yeah, I'm sure that's something he'll be looking for, and they've fallen down since they got relegated from the League One the same year that Ayr won it, and they've never really, they've been struggling really since then. They need to try build their way back up somehow, because they're good enough to play League One football. They just need to get back to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, another late goal in that game, 91st minute penalty. Seems to be all late goals. If you're a betting man, I think you should maybe put on any goals after the 75th minute. Seems to be a certainty
I think
for most of these games.
like player fitness will come into play for some of the late goals, especially since Albion went down to 10 men. With having played so many games and with being a part-time team, it's always going to be tough for them to chase about for so long.
Absolutely. I think it was always going to be tough for them to.
I know Craig mentioned when I came in that I was only here to talk about Queen's Park, but they actually lost during the weekend anyway.
They did.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, you know, fair play to Elgin.
No, fair play to Kane Hester. It was all Kane.
And a game that secured Elgin's playoff spot.
Obviously, we do have to mention, in the interest of impartiality, that this player is subject to a criminal investigation. So we have to obviously be careful about what we disclose on
He
this
scored a hat-trick.
this podcast. He did score a hat trick, yes, but he might not be with Elgin long. He may be in jail, depending on how the court case goes. but we'll see how that goes. So Elgin might be without their hat-trick man
Yes.
come next season. Who knows? But again, a case of Queen's Park Downing Tools, League
Maybe,
One.
yeah. I mean, they made 4 subs at half time as well, bringing on better players for the ones that were on the pitch. And then two of them scored the goals for them as well.
They did, yeah.
I want to touch on one thing about Queen's Park. Luca Connell, where does he go on loan next season, if or does he stay at Celtic?
I think I mentioned this last week. I think he'd certainly be good in a championship club next season.
He'd probably do a job maybe even lower half of the Premiership if given the right
I
opportunity.
think that's a very difficult. Lower half Premiership is difficult to send someone to, just in the way because you never actually know how it's going to pan out in the season.
I would actually like to see him go back to Queen's Park. They're up to a League One side. I'm sure they'll be pushing on to try and cement himself in League One and even pushing to get out of League One. It'd be a good addition for the squad if they did manage to secure him. I'm sure they will be looking into it already. How can they get some of these players tied in for next season that they don't already?
Certainly, it's an interesting one. I think maybe Championship, or do you think he's got the fight and the talent to push into the Celtic first team given the dramatic changes that are?
Well, that's the thing. It's
Going
a
round.
very populated position. Not position, but areas of midfield, and well, I'd like to see him get a chance at some point in the next couple of seasons.
Oh, we can maybe have the situation. Oh, sorry, on you go.
So I was just going to say, I think it's tough, but if a new manager comes in and they decide to do a pre-season tour, if you like, I think it might be a good opportunity for him to get minutes then, and then a new manager can dictate where he sees him, because I don't think he'll get near the first team for a couple of more seasons at least, so you got to look at bigger picture.
I suppose it depends because he's got an absolute wand of a left peg. So
I mean, he's only 20, so he is only 20, so still very young, very raw, so plenty of time for him to develop into a better player.
I've seen a couple of his interviews as well, which are quite he's just sort of quite down to earth. He's like, I'm just here to play football.
No, definitely.
I mean, the accent doesn't help
That's
though.
what you like, kind of player.
I think being so and not inexperienced as such, but
What are we talking about?
Luca Connell.
Luca Connell.
What them?
Whether we
But how good
think
he is.
he should be going next season, or if they
Oh.
should be staying at Celtic, or
Should be going on loan, I'd have said, probably.
yeah, I said potentially going back to Queen's Park because they will be pushing at the top end.
Yeah,
of League One.
I think Queen's Park could be a decent shout for him.
Keeping it's always good for the player as well, going somewhere he knows rather than just going somewhere new every season, having to learn the new faces, etc.
Continuity can help. Ferg's still not taking that hat off since he put stuff in his car earlier.
I'm very sorry.
Where are you?
Can't really disclose that in the pod.
In my office, obviously.
Right. Anyway, there was still another game in League Two.
Wait, is this
in
recording?
regard- Yes.
I didn't realise it was recording already.
Yeah, I'm sitting
we're
here
about
so
25
confused.
minutes in, Matt.
Oh, I didn't realise. Oh, hello. Hi, yeah.
Yeah, so the other game, there was Stranraer confirming their promotion playoff place by defeating Edinburgh City 2-1, who were already in the playoff places.
Becoming the third team in the playoff places to have 38 points.
Yeah, so 38 is the magic number. The game was the excitement was done by half time. With Stranraer deciding to score all 3 goals in the game just to make it more interesting.
Sometimes you've got to do that.
Yeah, sometimes you got to do it. They'll obviously play Montrose.
No, they're playing.
No, they won't play Montrose. They'll play Dumbarton. I'm getting my playoffs mixed
He's
up.
getting
here.
all nervous now that Matt's mentioned we're recording.
No, I was good. I was good. Stranraer Dumbarton. I think. I mean, I think it'll be an interesting game. I think Dumbarton will just have too much for them. Personally,
Yeah, yeah, I've got to agree. But Shinrara is it's a tough place to go. Uh, and it's quite a nice wee stadium to go. I'm sure the fans wish they could have made that trip down. I know I miss it.
Love an away day to Stranraer.
yeah. So certainly, I think that's it'll be an interesting playoff week, and that playoffs and all the games ahead. That takes us very nicely, I think, to the predictiones. Unless I've missed anything.
No, I think you've
No.
covered
Oh
it all.
wow. Oh, I've remembered everything. My memory serves me
How
right.
long are we into this?
25 minutes.
Quite a bit.
About half an hour, Matt.
Oh, for fuck! I didn't realise.
We were to start.
Yeah.
We actually held off. I phoned you and you never replied.
No.
Matt fell asleep again.
Anyway, in
we
the
can't-
predictions,
That's not the point.
a shock result occurred. Craig was the winner of this week. I'm in shock.
Is that the first
I'm in
time?
shock.
Need to go back and check.
It's not the first time I did win,
13.
but that time I
13
got a lot of
points.
How many games?
A
were there?
correct score.
There's
There was,
11 games.
That's
11
not very
games.
good, is it?
it was
Um,
better than everybody else, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
Matt was beating me until the late Airdrie second goal
Was it?
that put me ahead.
Am I still beating Jura?
You
Yeah,
are
it's
because
still
Quite
Sure.
a wee bit. I had a poor week.
you've gained on Jura quite considerably since I was close to you.
I was one behind. Now I'm like 20 something.
That's a lot.
So
Only 18. Actually.
18 behind.
It was a good week for Craig. Matt, you get 9. I get 6. And then Jordan Ferg with 4
That's what we're
points
talking about.
each.
We've got
I'd like to
11
have them-
games.
I'd like to add
Yes.
the main thing that Craig is now no longer bottom.
Who's bottom? Ferg.
Ferg.
By a point.
Who's
Let's just be
racist?
quick there. My point. But that takes us to, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 8 games. 8 games to pick from this week.
Exciting packed games.
Well, maybe exciting.
A lot of
We'll
one
see.
inches.
A lot of 1 inches, yes. We'll start with the Scottish Cup semi-finals. Dundee United versus Hibs. Craig, what you got for us?
Well, it's not so much of a cup set at this stage. I'm sure both teams are equally not favourites for us, but sure both teams have an equal chance, pretty much. But I do predict Dundee United will come up on top. I predict 2-0 Dundee United.
Very interesting. Ferg,
What's the game? Sorry, I zoned out.
Dundee
Dundee
United.
United, Hibs in the Scottish Cup semi-final.
Oh, this is rough. I think Hibs will take it 2-1.
Ross Stewart,
I'm going to say nothing each after 90 minutes.
Matt,
1 each after 90 minutes.
Can I ask a question?
and I'm going to go, yep,
Say your prediction first, I'll ask a question after.
I'm going to go 2-0 Hibs.
2 Hibs.
Was it mentioned
And over-
about the news today of playoffs to be moved for fans?
Oh yeah, we had not missed
Oh,
the
what's that?
the playoff
Championship
the playoff
and
finals.
League 1 and 2 playoff finals are moved to allow fans.
Oh,
Championship final will now be the
Oh.
18th and 21st of May. League 1 17th and 20th of May, and League 2 18th and 23rd of May.
So what is it, like 10% capacity or something?
500 fans. Up to 500
Right.
fans.
Oh,
So,
Oh, well,
I've been driving all day. I didn't.
I've seen it earlier and I
Yeah,
couldn't,
I've been
I couldn't,
hard at
I
work
couldn't
all
remember
day.
if it was real or not, and I was like, they said it, so I just wanted to get out there.
Depending on numbers, we could potentially be there. Who knows?
Mhm.
What playoff are we going to?
I
Any
don't
of
think-
The
them.
Hamilton one.
I don't
Oh.
think we will outmatch the 500 actual fans that should be going there.
No, we'll do it straight
Well,
to the cameras.
I've already got my tickets. So
Exactly.
Anyway, second game, Scottish Cup semi-final. The other one, St Mirren versus COVID-hit St Johnstone. They are missing 4 unnamed players. We don't know who these 4 are. It could be 4 of the key players, or it could be 4 Diddies. Craig, what's your prediction?
Well, I believe one of them is the reserve goalkeeper. They're not the reserve goalkeeper. They're sub goalkeeper. Sorry, because they have signed Bobby Zamel on temporary loan from Hearts today. So
How many clubs has this guy had this season?
he's been at quite a few. He seems to be the COVID keeper. If anyone's been hit by COVID, you just get fired out of the
Except here.
except there. But I believe Xander Clark has been ruled fit to start. He did have a toe problem, which will be a massive boost for them.
To be fair, you
I
need your
think-
toes to save.
One
Well,
each. I
he's
think it'll be a
hoping he
close
doesn't
game.
get
One each.
defeat.
Ferg?
Yeah, it could be a really close game, but I think it could. And that could be close. But if you're asking me, I think St Johnson have a much better side,
Which I
even
am.
though they are COVID hit. But I think
Could be a close game. Oh, could be a close game.
it could be. But I think St Johnson will come out with this 3-0 winners.
Sure.
I hope St Johnson do it, but I think it might burst their bubble. 1-0 St Mirren.
He just doesn't want Gerrard to not get manager of the year.
Of course.
And Matt, you won.
Well, Billy did mention 4 Diddies, and I think there's going to be 4 Diddies this game. 3-1 St Johnson.
And I'm going to go on the assumption that St Johnson have lost 4 key players, and I'm going to go 2-1 St Mirren.
Bold.
Got to see if St Mirren do manage to get through to the final and manage to win it. I do hope that their appeal goes through and they are able to play in Europe next season, because it would be a big shame for them if they're not.
Oh, I never thought of that. Actually, that would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Why wouldn't they be?
I don't actually know, because I looked at the league
UEFA criteria.
yeah, the criteria, and they met it all. Just SFA didn't, or they didn't get their license.
Maybe they just don't want St Mirren. They don't want teams going to Paisley. That's what it is.
St Mirren and Livingston didn't get their license granted.
Oh,
I believe Livingston's is because they didn't post their figures
plastic pitch.
in time.
Plastic pitch.
So yeah,
Tragedy.
Well, best of luck to them anyway. We'll see what happens in that game. Next game, Wraith versus Dunfermline in the Premiership relegation quarter-final second leg. 0-0 after the first leg. Craig, what you got?
I mean, this is a game that's just pretty much impossible to call into. This game this season's had like a 5-1, a 4-1, a 0-0. Who knows? I'll go 2-0 Wraith.
Ferg?
I'm going to say 2-1 Wraith.
Ross Stewart?
I'm going to go the other way and say 2-1 to Dunfermline.
And Matt?
Yeah, I'm going to go the other way as well and say 2-0 Dunfermline.
And I'll go bang in the middle, score draw, 1-1. There are all bases covered.
Someone's getting points.
Hopefully me. Next game in the League One promotion playoff, Championship relegation League One promotion. Cove Rangers versus Airdrie. Craig, what you got?
I think Airdrie will match the result of last week, and 2-0 Airdrie.
Ferg, who looks very frozen on my screen.
It does look a bit frozen.
He
We need-
is
we need-
frozen, so I guess
we
we'll
need
move on
defrost
to
him.
someone else.
Can we defrost him?
I'll
guess
get the
we'll-
de-icer out while we go on to
Jure, what you got?
We'll stick Ferg in the microwave. I'm going
Oh,
to
he's gone.
say 1-1.
I'm gonna go 1-0 Airdrie.
And I will agree with my good friend Ross Stewart. I'm going to go 1-1.
What was that, Matt? Sorry, did you say 2-1 Airdrie?
No, 1-0 Airdrie.
Ah, that's what I thought you said.
Yeah.
it looks like Ferg is ready to get out of the microwave. If you could open the door for him, Jer.
I'll open the door for him.
The timer has buzzed. There he is.
Many
Ding.
apologies. My laptop just had an absolute seizure. Okay.
So,
Um,
just need your prediction for Cove Rangers versus Airdrie in the Championship relegation playoff semi-final first leg.
3-2 Cove Rangers.
Ooh, very exciting. And in the other one, it's Montrose versus Morton. Craig Grigger, what you got?
Sounds depressed.
I'm going to go for 3-1 to Montrose.
Ferg?
1-0 Morton.
Jure?
I'm gonna say 2-0 Morton.
And Matt?
Nah, I'm hopeful for Montrose. I like Morton. 1-0.
And I'm going to go 2-1 Montrose.
Yeah.
Which moves us down the ladder to League Two, the relegation or the League One relegation playoff battle between Elgin and Edinburgh City, two of the high flyers in League Two. What do we have, Craig, for the score?
Well, this will be all down to whether Hat-Trick Hero is able to play or
Alright,
or
he's still
not.
able to play. The,
Is he-
the date's not for months.
Okay, that is fine. And
it's
I'm going to
more
go
for next season.
2-0 Elgin.
Ferg?
Score draw, 1 each.
Sure.
I'm gonna say 3-0 to Elgin.
And Matt?
I'm going to match Craig. 2-0 Elgin.
And I'm going to go score draw 2-2.
He's taken my favourite score draw.
I have. You took mine. So we also have Stranraer versus Dumbarton in the other game. Craig, what you got for that one?
Well, I know you said you think Dumbarton will be too much, but I think Stranraer will come out on top here. I think it's going to be a 2-1 to Stranraer.
2-1 Stranraer. Also from me.
I'm gonna go the other way and say 2-1 to Dumbarton.
And I'm going to go right down the middle. Score draw, 1 each.
And I'm also going to go score draw 1 each. And lastly, Kelty Hearts versus Brora Rangers in the League Two relegation playoff second leg. 2-0 to Kelty from the first leg. What do you have, Craig?
I think Kelty will come out on top again here with a comfortable 3-0 victory to see the game off.
Oh, I think Brora will put up a bit of a fight, but in the end of it, I think it will. I don't know. I'll say 2-1 Brora, but Kelty obviously we're going to get through. So
I'm gonna say 1-1.
And I'm going to say 2-0 Brora. Make it exciting.
Matt wants the extra time and
I
penalties.
do.
And I'll be going for 3-1 to Kelty. And that is our predictions. As always, if you think you can beat us, and most weeks you can beat us because we're not very good at this. Between us, we might be very good. If we all combined as a unit, would be quite good. You can always send your predictions in to ourselves through the various social media channels. And is there any other news that I've missed in the Scottish footballing world this week? Are we all?
Not that I know of, anyway.
Just laughing at Douglas Ross count.
It does not. That's
No, it does not.
political,
No,
we're
that's
political.
we're not a political podcast.
Wait, did I miss when everyone laughed at Falkirk?
Yeah, if you want to take
Yeah,
some
we
time
can-
just now to laugh
You
at
can take that
Falkirk.
just now. Yeah,
Can't all laugh at Falkirk.
Yeah, get fucked, Falkirk.
Well, there we have it.
there we go. The thoughts there of Fergus Smith. And on that note, as always, you can follow us through our various social media channels, and this podcast will be available on the various media platforms that we have it on. And we will be back again on Monday, if I'm correct. Am I correct?
Well, I believe someone said they weren't available on Monday and called you.
So a weekend Monday. So a week,
Okay.
not this Monday, a weekend
This
Monday.
Monday, yes, we will be back.
Yes. We're back this Monday again with the Five-A-Side podcast. And we'll discuss the weekend's action, and we'll see who's through the Scottish Cup final and who's in the prime position to get promoted and relegated. So, with that in mind, Fergus, would you like to do the honours and start us off with the goodbyes?
Yeah, apologies for my lateness tonight, but made myself present when it mattered, and with power on, it's coming to the closing stages of the season, and we'll see you next time. God bless.
Matthew Thompson?
Yep. I thought I was on time. I wasn't. I was quite late, and it wasn't very professional. But I'll be here on Monday, and I'll be wearing my presentable pants.
Excellent. Craig Rigger?
Goodbye.
Ross Stewart?
Wait, who are we talking about? Goodbye, all.
And from myself, Ivan Billick-Patrick, this has been the Five-A-Side Podcast. Take care, God bless, and good night.